Hi everyone, welcome to my next video blog, which speaks about Azure Virtual Network Manager. Azure Virtual Network Manager service is one of my favorite services in networking category with Azure. This helps you to centralize the management of your virtual network across a subscription and can cross tenant. This helps you to simplify the administration of the complex cloud virtual network infrastructure. The main value proposition of this service is provides a opportunity to management of your efficiency of your virtual networks. It can be ensuring the consistent security policies, topology you want to define within the virtual network. It's been across your subscription and the tenant. So the main key features in the AVNM is it just gets you four different options. One is you can just do a connectivity based model where it just gets you the connectivity configuration. And the second one is a security admin configuration, which allows you to define the collection of security admin rule. It's not an NSG, but you can just relate to the similar to NSG one here. I'll explain more detail in the videos. The third one is the user defined route to have the control traffic flow according to your requirement based on all the virtual networks. And on top of that, we have IP address management, which helps you to keep the IP addresses consistent across your cloud, all the virtual networks. Okay, let's deep dive into this video to make sure how we can start with this. Okay, I'm moving into my Azure portal. I'm just creating the Azure Virtual Network Manager resource with my subscription. I have my resource group. Uh, Next one, mention the futures are three different things like connectivity, making sure the topologies across your virtual networks. And second one is a security admin, which gives you the rules to control your traffic comes in and goes out. And the third one is the user defined routing to make sure all the virtual networks has a consistent routing across your tenant. And the three, next one is where do you want to apply this managed scope? Like you want to apply this AVNM across your tenant or you want a specific to subscription. Since I have my testing environment here, I'm just selecting a subscription, but you can just go and select the scope on the management group level. That's a normal way of doing it in enterprise wide. Next, click next and click review and create. Just takes a couple of minutes. Just verifies and validates and it just goes and create. Okay, now the resource has been created. Let's go into our Azure Virtual Network Manager to making sure what we have been created here. You see my resource has been created. It is in Australia East. I have all this required setting of basic things to go ahead. And if I expand the settings, where this comes with configuration and stuff, I want to show you in the first video about network connectivity configurations. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's go and create network groups. Like, okay, I'm going to create a network group where I want to logically create all my virtual networks into a network group, like a logical boundary, and keep everyone into the virtual container so that any policies or configuration I want to apply that applies on top of this network group. Create a network group name, 01, member type can virtual network or subnet. You can just go and divide or you can just do multiple things as required, but I'll select virtual networks here and you can do subnet level of the information as well. This network group is going to be having one virtual network. As we create the network groups can get into it. There are two options for us to do it. One, you can do the manual addition of all, add all your networks as needed. It can be manual. And there is a second option, it is dynamic. You can create an Azure policy, like uh, creating a specific tag or a location base, something you want to be very specific. You can do that as well. I'll show you here. So you want to do a policy name like Azure AVNM 01 have the scope what we selected as part of the earlier resource creation. You can do something like want to call it a subscription name or a location, anything specific to Australia East with any virtual networks, it just comes here. Or another option you can do is like my specific thing is to with the tags. You have a tag, something you call it as defined like peering or AVNM, something you want to be very meaningful. That works here, and you can just say the key value pair is equal to like nm. It as a value as yes or no. If any virtual network has this specific tag, it just goes and pulls out all the virtual networks into this specific network groups. That's what I want to show you here. What I'll do here is I'll just go something like manual. I'll show you how it works. Like it just goes and gets all my Azure subscriptions and fetches all my virtual networks across my tenant. So in that, I can just go and select my required virtual networks based on my specific requirement. I'm just selecting a couple of virtual networks here to make sure these are going to be part of my tenant subscription for a testing. I'm just specifically skipping few, making sure my hub is out of my resource network group. I don't want the hub to be part of that. I have a specific reason. I'll show you when I do that. When I do this manually, what happens is it just goes and pulls all my virtual network and puts it into the virtual container group. So now I have 6 groups here. Sorry, 6 members here. You can see it here. Let's go back to the AVNM. Now I have network groups created and I have my resource underneath. Let's do some configurations. So the configurations are one, the real setting, which is going to be applied on top of the network group. Now I'm going to do the connectivity configuration. Let's do like hub and okay, we are back and the deployment is succeeded. Okay, let's go and check my Azure Virtual Networks. What happens to my virtual networks where it's got the peering is enabled? We select hub, peerings, the 5 virtual has been created. Fairly simple tool in AVNM, which gets you a centralized configuration has been pushed across your subscription and tenant. I want to show you some this like if I want to do my deployment again in my AVM to my I'll select my AVNM here and I just want to show you with this specifically. Okay, I'm in the AVNM screen now. I have the configurations. We created hub and spoke. It's been deployed in one region and succeeded. You want to make sure the deployment is being not as you expected and you want to make sure this go away, then what you have to do is go back to the connectivity configuration and select the configuration which you want up. Or say for example, if I make specific enable of this none, remove the existing connectivity configuration, what happens is it just goes and removes all the pairings or what are the configuration you enable, it just goes out. If I select Australia East, just gives me, if I go to the next one, it just says, okay, see, this is the existing configuration. What is the goal? The end target state. It just goes and removes everything. Make sure you don't want to do this. I'm just giving you one to be a best practice. It's only required when you made something wrong and you want to remove the configuration, then you can perfectly do it. That's it with this video. And in the coming videos, I'll show you about the security admin rules and the IPAM and other configuration. Thank you for watching it. Have a nice